everybody, welcome back. And today I am finally doing my Perfect Palette Tag 2 Drugstore edition. Now I got tagged to do the Perfect Palette Tag by Kimberly Clark a while ago, and I realized I had never done the Perfect Palette 1, so I did that one, and I cheated and I broke it up into high-end and drugstore, and I decided to do the same thing with the Perfect Palette Tag 2 because I have so many palettes and I am indecisive. Don't judge me. But anyway, so I figured I'd finally do the drugstore since I've already done the high end, but I'm gonna stop talking. Actually, that's a lie. I'm gonna talk through the whole video, but I'm gonna stop rambling and then we're gonna get into it. Okay, first question is eyeliner, brush, or nothing. And this is talking about what is involved with, or what is included with a palette. And as far as drugstore, nothing. I just want the shadows because generally when they try and add those extras in, they're just kind of throwaway products. And I would just much rather not have the space or the extra crap to deal with. So as far as drugstore products, when it comes to extras, I don't want anything in the palette. Next question is a palette you've hit pan on. I've talked about this before. I don't think I've hit pan on any palette because I have so many palettes and I like to mix things in and out. So I really use my collection, but I have gotten close on a couple of shades. But the one I'm closest on is from the Revealed 2 palette from Coastal Scents. I love this palette. I use it all the time, but it's this shade right here. Now this shade is a chunky kind of like in the palette. It's chunky, it's powdery, and it doesn't seem like much at all. But I have to say that my favorite way of applying this shade is what I'll do is I'll take some glitter glue, I'll pat it on my eye, and I treat that shade like a glitter. And when I do that, this turns into the most absolutely gorgeous, stunning lid shade. And let me just wet it down and for you. But when I use the shade like a glitter, it turns into the most stunning, beautiful pink lid color you could ever imagine. So this is definitely, so this is it dry, and this is when I wet it and then pat it on top of it, or pat it on like a glitter with some glitter glue. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty, and I love that shade, and it's just a go-to for me. So even though it takes a little bit more work, I absolutely love this shade, and I am almost hitting pan on that one in that palette. Next question is favorite naked palette, and for me this one was easy. This is the Revealed palette from Coastal Scents, the original one. I love the Naked 2, I mean the Revealed 2, but this one is just perfect because it's got your warms, it's got your cool tones, it has got your matte shades, it has got your shimmer shades. It's just a great palette. I love this. I think for 20 bucks it is a steal. It is a I know it's a dupe for the Naked 1 and 2. I don't own either of those because I own this palette and I love it, and I use this on brides, I use this on myself, bridal parties. I think it's such a great palette. It's great quality, it has a lot of versatility, and I also love to travel with this palette just because it is so slim and convenient. I only have the Revealed 2 and 1. I don't have the 3, which I haven't heard good things about, or the Smoky, which I've heard amazing things about. But these two are just, if you like those neutrals, you like the idea of the naked palettes, but you can't afford them, these are such an amazing affordable option. Plus, for the price, for less than the price of one, you're gonna get 4 times as many eyeshadows, essentially. So, they're a steal. All right, the next question is favorite holiday or limited edition palette. For me, I'm gonna go with the holiday palette because this one I absolutely love. I don't know if this was holiday, I'm assuming it was. I think this came out around Christmas time, but this is from the Elsa, you know, when they did the Disney Princess collection in Walgreens. This palette I got and I was like, oh my gosh, these are such cool little colors for the drugstore. And this is called the Snow and Ice palette. Really, really pretty, just interesting colors for the drugstore. I filmed one of my favorite tutorials ever with this. I'll link it down below. I mean, the colors are beautiful, they're blendable, they're nice, they're easy to work with, and I was just really, really impressed with this palette. I think this is a great palette for people who like color. And again, they're colors that you don't really see in the drugstore a whole bunch, which I think just made this palette stand out to me, and I really wish this was permanent because I think it's beautiful. All right, the next question is a palette you would repurchase or you wish you had a backup of if it was no longer available. This was my most loved in the original one. This is the Makeup by Mandy 24 from BH Cosmetics. I love this palette. It is a great neutral palette. It's beautiful. I'm able to create just some stunning looks with it. Most of the shadows in here are just absolutely beautiful and wonderful to work with. Now, like I said before, the black in this palette is a little tricky to work with, but that's okay because it's extremely pigmented and you can make it work. But this is just such a good staple palette, and I don't use it as often because I have a lot of neutral palettes, but also because it makes me sad that I can't get it anymore. And I love this palette. I think it's fantastic. One of the better collaborations that I've ever purchased. Next question is a shade you wish was sold individually, and this is a new palette for me. It's from Wet n Wild. It's their Color Icon Trio and Plaid to the Bone. It's from their Autumn Lush collection, which is still available. I've seen them in CVS and Rite Aids and even some Walgreens, but it's this duochromatic shade right here. I love these duochromatic shades, these kind of browns to greens with blues and reds in there. These I have a ton of them. I love them, but this has got to be the prettiest one I own. The shift is so strong. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, even compared to the one in the Comfort Zone palette, this one just is stunning. And I'm gonna have to pick up another one just so I have a backup of that shade, because I'm just a sucker for these types of shades. I think it's so beautiful, and I wish they sold this individually or made this palette permanent. So gorgeous. Do you see that? I could just look at that all day. It's so pretty. All right, the next question is a wild card question. You get to pick a question that you want to re-answer from the original Perfect Palette tag. So for me, I'm going to choose the one for best, or that's best for traveling. I think in that video I said the Carly Bible palette, and I still love that palette. I think it's great with we've got the highlights and the eyeshadows. This is right along those same lines. It's BH Cosmetics, guys. I love BH Cosmetics. It's the Shanna XO collaboration. Again, another amazing collaboration. You get a beautiful neutral palette in here, warm neutrals, which, like I said before, when I travel, I like these warm, bronzy neutrals in here. Very generously sized. Love this palette. Put it to a lot of good use, but then again, you get all of the lip products, and I love this. This could be best for traveling / best packaging, because you get the cream products, you could use these as blushes as well. I have tried that out and it does work. So essentially you're getting 9 cream products, 9 eyeshadow products, and I've used this shade as a highlight because you can. So essentially I have my highlight, I have my blush, lip, and eyeshadow all in one. They're separated so there's not going to be any cross contamination. It's easy, it's small, it's sleek. You've got a mirror in here. I mean, it's just a good palette. I love the design of this palette. I think it's fantastic. And on top of that, the quality is amazing. Like, these shadows are just beautiful. I love them. I think they're great, and I think BH, like I said, I love BH Cosmetics. I know I talk about them all the time, but I mean, I just have no complaints about this palette. I think it is absolutely fantastic for traveling / the packaging's really good. So I kind of cheated and answered 2 questions, but do you expect anything different? Final question is palette you would recommend to a friend. Now, when it comes to a drugstore palette, one that is easy to get, that you can just walk into a store and get, that would be great for everyday use, great for beginners, great for somebody who really enjoys eyeshadows, I would recommend the Sonia Kashuk Eyes on Neutral Matte. I mean, this is just a great palette. It's got every neutral you could want. It's great for traveling. They're pigmented, they're buttery, they're easy to use. So it's easy to use, it's beautiful, it's got a range of tones and shades. Everything's matte. I mean, this is just such a universally flattering palette, and then the quality is just, oh, where did that shadow go? There we go. And then the quality is just unbelievable. It's just so good. So for $20, it is a little bit on the higher end of things in the drugstore, but when you talk about you're getting 12 shadows that I'm gonna throw. So yes, it is on the higher side of things at the drugstore at $19.99, but you're getting 12 highly pigmented, highly blendable eyeshadows that you could use to complement any palette. If you are somebody who doesn't really want a lot of palettes or you don't collect makeup, you just want something that's going to work as a workhorse palette that you could wear every day and then throw in with a few special palettes, this one is it. For example, if you had something like this and then something like Urban Decay's Electric palette or the Lorac Pro Metals palette, you wouldn't need anything else because you've got your shimmery pops of color, and then you have this awesome palette that I am determined on throwing that would just work with anything. I think this is an amazing palette for somebody who doesn't want a bunch of makeup or who is just building their collection or just getting into makeup. It's so good. All right, everybody, so that is my Perfect Palette Tag 2 Drugstore edition / affordable edition. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, I'll link all of my other the other videos down below, as well as that tutorial that I mentioned. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, thanks to Kimberly for tagging me. Love you, girl. I'm glad your videos are back up on YouTube because we were missing you. But as always, you guys have an amazing day. Have a rockin' week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.